I observed the superstars of today. I explored the techniques used by top salespeople to close the sale, speakers to convince, clergy to convert, performers to engross, sex symbols to seduce, and athletes to win. I found concrete building blocks to the elusive qualities that lead to their success. Then I broke them down into easily digestible, know-as-you-can-use techniques. I gave each a name that will quickly come to mind when you find yourself in a communications conundrum. As I developed the techniques, I began sharing them with audiences around the country. Participants in my communications seminars gave me their ideas. My clients, many of them CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, enthusiastically offered their observations. When I was in the presence of the most successful and beloved leaders, I analyzed their body language and their facial expressions. I listened carefully to their casual conversations, their timing, and their choice of words. I watched as they dealt with their families, friends, associates, and adversaries. Every time I detected a little nip of magic in their communicating, I asked them to plug it out with tweezers and expose it to the bright light of consciousness. We analyzed it together, and then I turned it into an easy-to-do little trick others could duplicate and profit from. My findings and the strokes of some of those very effective folks are in this book. Some are subtle, some are surprising, but all are achievable. When you master them, everyone from new acquaintances to family, friends, and business associates will happily open their hearts, homes, companies, and even wallets to give you whatever they can. There's a bonus. As you sail through life with your new communication skills, you will look back and see some very happy givers smiling in your wake.
Part 1. How to intrigue everyone without saying a word. You only have 10 seconds to show you're a somebody. The exact moment that two humans lay eyes on each other has awesome potency. The first sight of you is a brilliant holograph. It burns its way into your new acquaintance's eyes and can stay emblazoned in his or her memory forever. Artists are sometimes able to capture this quicksilver, fleeting emotional response. My friend Robert Grossman is an accomplished caricature artist who draws regularly for Forbes, Newsweek, Sports Illustrated, Rolling Stone, and other popular publications. Bob has a unique gift for capturing not only the physical appearance of his subjects, but for zeroing in on the essence of their personalities. The bodies and souls of hundreds of luminaries radiate from his sketchpad. One glance at his caricatures of famous people, and you can actually see their personalities. Sometimes at a party, Bob will do a quick sketch on a cocktail napkin of a guest. Hovering over Bob's shoulder, the onlookers gasp as they watch their friend's image and essence materialize before their eyes. When he's finished drawing, he puts his pen down and hands the napkin to the subject. Often a puzzled look comes over the subject's face. He or she usually mumbles some politeness like, "Well, that's great, but it really isn't me." The crowd's convincing crescendo of, "Oh yes it is," drowns the subject out and squelches any lingering doubt. The confused subject is left to stare back at the world's view of himself or herself in the napkin. Once, when I was visiting Bob's studio, I asked him how he could capture people's personalities so well. He said, "It's simple. I just look at them." "No," I asked. "How do you capture their personalities? Don't you have to do a lot of research about their lifestyle, their history?" "No, I told you, Leal, I just look at them." "Huh?" He went on to explain, "Almost every facet of people's personalities is evident from their appearance, their posture, the way they move. For instance," he said, calling me over to a file where he kept his caricatures of political figures. "See," Bob said, pointing to angles on various presidential body parts. "Here's the boyishness of Clinton, showing me his half smile, the awkwardness of the elder George Bush, pointing to his shoulder angle, the charm of Reagan, noting the ex-president's smiling eyes, the shiftiness of Nixon, pointing to the furtive tilt of his head. Digging a little deeper into his file, he pulled out Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and pointing to the nose high in the air, here's the pride of FDR. It's all in the face and the body. First impressions are indelible. Why? Because in our fast-paced, information overload world of multiple stimuli bombarding us every second, people's heads are spinning. They must form quick judgments to make sense of the world and get on with what they have to do. So whenever people meet you, they take an instant mental snapshot. That image of you becomes the data they deal with for a very long time. Your body shrieks before your lips can speak. Are their data accurate? Amazingly enough, yes. Even before your lips part and the first syllable escapes, the essence of you has already axed its way into their brains. The way you look and the way you move is more than 80% of someone's first impression of you. Not one word need be spoken. I've lived and worked in countries where I didn't speak the native language. Yet without one understandable syllable spoken between us, the years proved my first impressions were on target. Whenever I met new colleagues, I could tell instantly how friendly they felt toward me, how confident they were, and approximately how much stature they had in the company. I could sense, just from seeing them move, who the heavyweights were and who were the welterweights. I have no extrasensory skill. You'd know too. How? Because before you have had time to process a rational thought, you get a sixth sense about someone. Studies have shown emotional reactions occur even before the brain has had time to register what's causing their reaction. Thus, the moment someone looks at you, he or she experiences a massive hit, the impact of which lays the groundwork for the entire relationship. Bob told me he captures that first hit in creating his caricatures. Deciding to pursue my own agenda for how to talk to anyone, I asked, Bob, if you wanted to portray somebody really cool, intelligent, strong, charismatic, principled, fascinating, caring, interested in other people. Easy, Bob interrupted. He knew precisely what I was getting at. Just give him great posture, a heads-up look, a confident smile, and a direct gaze. It's the ideal image for somebody who's a somebody. How to look like a somebody. My friend Karen is a highly respected professional in the home furnishings business. Her husband is an equally big name in the communications field. They have 2 small sons. Whenever Karen is at a home furnishings industry event, everyone pays deference to her. She's a very important person in that world. Her colleagues at conventions jostle for position just to be seen casually chatting with her and, they hope, be photographed rubbing elbows with her for industry bibles like Home Furnishings Executive and Furniture World. Yet, Karen complains, when she accompanies her husband to communications functions, she might as well be a nobody. When she takes her kids to school functions, she's just another mom. She once asked me, Leal, how can I stand out from the crowd so people who don't know me will approach me and at least assume I'm an interesting person? The techniques in this section accomplish precisely that. When you use the next 9 techniques, you will come across as a special person to everyone you meet. You will stand out as a somebody in whatever crowd you find yourself in, even if it's not your crowd. Let's start with your smile. 1. How to make your smile magically different. In 1936, one of Dale Carnegie's 6 musts in How to Win Friends and Influence People was smile. His edict has been echoed each decade by practically every communications guru who ever put pen to paper or mouth to microphone. However, at the turn of the millennium, it's high time we re-examine the role of the smile in high-level human relations. When you dig deeper into Dale's dictum, you'll find a 1936 quick smile doesn't always work, especially nowadays. The old-fashioned instant grin carries no weight with today's sophisticated crowd. Look at world leaders, negotiators, and corporate giants. Not a smiling sycophant among them. Key players in all walks of life enrich their smile, so when it does erupt, it has more potency, and the world smiles with them. Researchers have cataloged dozens of different types of smiles. They range from the tight rubber band of a trapped liar to the soft, squishy smile of a tickled infant. Some smiles are warm, while others are cold. There are real smiles and fake smiles. You've seen plenty of those plastered on the faces of friends who say they're delighted you decided to drop by, and presidential candidates visiting your city who say they're thrilled to be in, Big winners know their smile is one of their most powerful weapons, so they've fine-tuned it for maximum impact. How to fine-tune your smile. Just last year, my old college friend Missy took over her family business, a Midwestern company supplying corrugated boxes to manufacturers. One day she called saying she was coming to New York to court new clients, and she invited me to dinner with several of her prospects. I was looking forward to once again seeing my friend's quicksilver smile and hearing her contagious laugh. Missy was an incurable giggler, and that was part of her charm. When her dad passed away last year, she told me she was taking over the business. I thought Missy's personality was a little bubbly to be a CEO in a tough business. But hey, what do I know about the corrugated box biz? She, 3 of her potential clients, and I met in the cocktail lounge of a midtown restaurant, and as we led them into the dining room, Missy whispered in my ear, "Please call me Melissa tonight." "Of course," I winked back. Not many company presidents are called Missy. Soon after the Metro D seated us, I began noticing Melissa was a very different woman from the giggling girl I'd known in college. She was just as charming. She smiled as much as ever. Yet something was different. I couldn't quite put my finger on it. Although she was still effervescent, I had the distinct impression everything Melissa said was more insightful and sincere. She was responding with genuine warmth to her prospective clients, and I could tell they liked her too. I was thrilled because my friend was scoring a knockout that night. By the end of the evening, Melissa had 3 big new clients. Afterward, alone with her in the cab, I said, "Missy, you've really come a long way since you took over the company. Your whole personality has developed, well, a really cool, sharp corporate edge." Only one thing has changed," she said. "What's that?" "My smile," she said. "Your what?" I asked incredulously. "My smile," she repeated as though I hadn't heard her. "You see," she said, with a distant look coming into her eyes, "when Dad got sick and knew in a few years I'd have to take over the business, he sat me down and had a life-changing conversation with me. I'll never forget his words. Dad said, 'Missy, honey, remember that old song, I love ya, honey, but your feet's too big? Well, if you're gonna make it big in the box business, let me say, I love ya, honey, but your smile's too quick.'" He then brought out a yellowed newspaper article quoting a study he'd been saving to show me when the time was right. It concerned women in business. The study showed women who were slower to smile in corporate life were perceived as more credible. As Missy talked, I began to think about history-making women like Margaret Thatcher, Indira Gandhi, Golda Meir, Madeleine Albright, and other powerful women of their ilk. Not one was known for her quick smile. Missy continued, "The study went on to say a big warm smile is an asset, but only when it comes a little slower, because then it has more credibility." From that moment on, Missy explained, she gave clients and business associates her big smile. However, she trained her lips to erupt more slowly. Thus, her smile appeared more sincere and personalized for the recipient. That was it. Missy's slower smile gave her personality a richer, deeper, more sincere cachet. Though the delay was less than a second, the recipients of her big, beautiful smile felt it was special and just for them. I decided to do more research on the smile. When you're in the market for shoes, you begin to look at everyone's